Use me, break me, but don't abandon me in this alien slaughterhouse. She pleaded to the human. The metallic stench of blood and oil clung to the walls like a living thing, pulsating under the harsh red lights of the slaughterhouse. Machines hissed and ground in unholy rhythm, while alien creatures, limp and terrified, were dragged from pen to pen. Mara clutched the edge of the observation platform, her slender fingers trembling. Below her, the human, tall, dark-haired, and impossibly calm amidst chaos, wielded a blade that gleamed in the blood-soaked light. "Please, don't leave me," Mara whispered, her voice barely audible over the grinding machinery. Her wings twitched nervously, glowing faintly under the lights. Her tail curled around her legs, trying to find comfort in the only thing she had, the human. He looked up at her, eyes sharp but unreadable. "You know I won't abandon you," he said, voice low, almost a growl. But Mara could hear the uncertainty beneath the words. In this place, uncertainty was as lethal as the blades swinging in the pen below. Mara had been captured 3 cycles ago, torn from her colony on the outer moons of Torella. The humans were cruel, but this one, he was different. He didn't hit her, didn't shout, didn't chain her like the others. Instead, he whispered things that made her feel fragile and dangerous all at once. He made her feel seen. Now, she was standing above the slaughterhouse floor, watching creatures much like herself being processed in horrifying precision. Her voice broke as she pleaded, "Use me, break me, but don't abandon me here." The human's jaw tightened, and for a moment, Mara feared he would refuse. But then he descended from the platform, landing gracefully between the swinging chains and the mutilated forms. "You're mine tonight," he said, a promise and a warning wrapped in a single sentence. He approached her cautiously, hands open to show no threat. Mara's body tensed as he reached out and brushed a lock of hair from her face. "I won't let them take you," he said, though his voice was tinged with the same doubt Mara felt every time she dared hope. The machines roared louder as if in response to the tension. Mara's stomach twisted. "I don't want to be strong," she admitted. I want to survive. With you." He tilted his head, studying her, and Mara saw the weight of the world in his eyes. "Survival isn't about weakness or strength," he said. "It's about trust. And I trust you. Will you trust me?" Her heart hammered as she nodded, almost imperceptibly. He reached for her, and she let herself fall into his arms, letting the fear and tension dissolve into a strange, fragile comfort. The slaughterhouse seemed to fade away as they moved together, ducking under swinging chains, avoiding the sharp claws of the guards who barely noticed their flight. The floor below was slick with alien ichor, and each step was a risk. Mara's wings brushed against the machinery, sending sparks into the air. She hissed, and the human caught her by the waist, steadying her. "Careful," he warned. "One mistake." "I know," she whispered, heart in her throat. But in that moment, the fear that had defined her for so long transformed into a strange courage. She had chosen him, and he had chosen her. They reached a narrow corridor, lined with cages that housed alien prisoners, shivering, silent, resigned to their fate. Mara's eyes flickered with guilt and anger. "We could free them," she said, voice tight with emotion. He shook his head. "Not yet. First you. Then maybe." His hand tightened around hers, grounding her. The promise hung between them like a fragile thread, delicate but unbroken. Then came the sound that made Mara freeze, the high-pitched scream of the slaughterhouse's main processing machine activating. Time collapsed. The humans below were moving faster now, pushing alien prisoners onto the conveyor. Mara's instincts screamed at her to run, to hide, but the human's presence anchored her. "You're stronger than you think," he said, his voice a lifeline. "Even broken you survive. Even afraid you fight." Mara nodded, drawing a shaky breath. She let herself lean against him as they navigated the maze of horrors, each step a battle against the urge to panic. She didn't want to survive alone. She wanted to survive with him. And if that meant being broken and used, she would accept it, as long as he remained by her side. Finally, they reached the outer door, a thick metal barrier separating the slaughterhouse from the night sky. The human's hand rested on the control panel. "We go through together," he said. Mara's tail wrapped around his wrist instinctively, a silent plea for safety and connection. The door hissed open. Cold night air rushed in, sharp against her skin. Freedom felt impossibly fragile, yet tangible. Mara's heart ached with relief and exhaustion. She looked at the human and whispered, "Thank you for not abandoning me." He smiled faintly, the first genuine smile she had seen on him. "Never," he said, and took her hand. Together they stepped into the darkness beyond the slaughterhouse, leaving the screams, the machines, and the blood behind. Mara let herself collapse into him, tears sliding down her face. Broken or not, used or not, she had survived. And she hadn't been abandoned. Not tonight. The alien sky stretched endlessly above them, and for the first time, Mara dared to believe in a future beyond the horror. A future where she could be anything. Because he had chosen to be there. And in that moment, amidst the ruins of the slaughterhouse, survival was no longer about escaping death. It was about holding on to someone who refused to let go. The hiss of the outer door echoed through the slaughterhouse, mixing with the distant cries of creatures still trapped inside. Mara's wings trembled, and her tail wrapped instinctively around the human's wrist, holding on as if sheer will could protect them both. "We go through together," he said, voice low but steady. She nodded, heart pounding, feeling the weight of every choice that had led her here. One wrong step and the horrors of the slaughterhouse would swallow them whole. The door creaked open, and a blast of cold night air rushed in, sharp against her skin. Mara blinked against the brightness of the alien moon, the stars stretching endlessly above. Freedom was fragile, but it was real. She looked at him, voice trembling. "Thank you for not abandoning me." He met her gaze, eyes soft but fierce. "Never," he said simply. "Not now. Not ever." Mara let herself lean into him, letting the tension she had carried for cycles slip away in tears. She realized she had survived not because she was strong or clever, but because someone had chosen to stand by her side, even in the blood-soaked heart of the slaughterhouse. The screams, the grinding machines, and the metallic stench were behind them now. Ahead, the alien sky promised a fragile hope, a future that felt almost impossible after all they had endured. Mara's tail twitched in relief, her wings fluttering faintly as she drew a shaky, exhilarated breath. Even broken, even used, she had not been abandoned. And sometimes, survival wasn't about fighting alone. It was about holding on to the one being who refused to let go. Under the vast, cold sky, hand in hand, they stepped away from the slaughterhouse, leaving the darkness behind. And for the first time in countless cycles, Mara allowed herself to believe in tomorrow.